FBI.
Oh no, you're kidding.
And I was devastated.
Imagine spending your whole life chasing one dream, and then one surgery destroys it. That's what happened to Bart Merrill. And the crazy part, that moment, the worst moment of his life, is the reason he's free today.
I wanted to get in the FBI and chase serial killers. That was my dream job. And we had a friend, family friend, that was the president of the bank in the town where we would go do our banking. And he was ex-FBI. He said the easiest way in was to get in through accounting, and once you get in the FBI, you don't have to stay in the white collar. You apply to the different jobs, and if you're good at it, you get them. And so from his guidance and my dad's guidance, I studied accounting at Utah State University. And I found out very quickly two things. One, I didn't like it. Two, I wasn't good at it. If there was accounting, the word accounting in the class title, I could study my butt off and I would get maybe a B minus if I was lucky. All the other classes that didn't require accounting, I didn't have to study much and I would get an A or a B, no problem. And so I found out those two things, but I continued down my path because I had my goal.
This wasn't a hobby dream. This was his entire identity.
Right. Had 1 quarter left up there at Utah State University. I took some time off, went down to help my dad on the pig farm and improve my Spanish, because you can imagine we had a lot of Spanish speakers on the pig farm working for us.
Right.
And so when I was down there, I was making all this money, not a ton of money, it's a pig farm, but I was making money and I had no place to spend it. So the money was burning a hole in my pocket. I had friends that were friends in the customs and the border patrol and even just regular police officers getting this RK surgery done on their eyes to correct their vision. It was before LASIK, and it had just barely come on the market. It was still considered experimental. It was $1,500 an eye. Like I said, I had money. I went and got it done.
He thought that he was fixing his future, but he was actually killing it.
I corrected my vision 20/20 in one eye, 20/25 in the other eye. Went back up to Utah State, happy as a clam, just wanting to get started in the FBI. As I'm finishing up my last quarter there at school, started the application process, and I found out that automatically disqualified me from the FBI.
Oh no, you're kidding.
Man, I was devastated. It was still considered experimental, and so they didn't want to put all this money into you and have you go blind.
Oh, wow.
And so I was devastated. I didn't know what I was going to do. And so my dream job as a kid got blown up. There you have it.
This wasn't just a career dying. This was the death of who he thought he was. This is the moment every creative knows, when the world tells you no.
So I learned from him, and ever since my dream job got blown up, anything that crosses my path, good, bad, or ugly, I always ask, can I monetize it? Or how can I monetize it? I don't monetize everything, but I always ask the question.
This is the first time he stopped chasing a title and started chasing opportunity. And then his life hit him again, even harder.
I just had my leg amputated in 2024, March 25th, 2024. When I found out that was going to happen, I found out in October of 2023, after the shock and awe was over, my mind goes like this. Okay, this is going to happen. There's nothing I can do about it. I don't like it. So how can I monetize it?
Most people break here, but Bart built something.
6 months post-op, I contracted with my prosthetist to help people go through what it is that I had to go through. And it kind of went like this. I mean, if I hadn't thought about it before, this wouldn't have happened. But I'm in at a prosthetist appointment. We're talking about my leg and doing stuff. And I said, hey, Scott, I interviewed 3 other prosthetists before I decided on you. One of them had a guy that I could talk to, that I could get my questions answered. I could learn from him what to expect. You don't have a guy. I'm your guy. And from there, we started a negotiation. I said, I want a job. You send me the names. I call them. I contact them. You pay me a monthly fee. And it's not based on, it's just a monthly fee to be on retainer. And I talk to your people. That way you have the equivalent of what your competition has. And so my leg getting cut off, I knew it was going to happen.
Right.
And I asked, how can I monetize it? Now, I'm not saying that your people should go chop off body parts to get a job. I'm just saying, when things come across your path, good, bad, or ugly, ask, can you monetize it?
Most people would have asked, why me? Bart asked, how do I turn this into something that helps people? This next story sounds ridiculous until you realize it's the metaphor every creative might need.
At any one time on our farm, we had probably somewhere around 19,000 pigs, which for you mathematicians out there, well, we ran about 2,000 sows. You know what a sow is if you're around a pig farm. It's a mama pig.
Yep.
And a mama pig can give birth 2.5 times a year. And on our farm, we average 9.97 pigs per litter. And so for the mathematicians that want to do the figures, it equals a lot of pig poop. And we had these 3 man-made ponds that we would divert the stuff into, settling ponds. So one year it'd go here, next year it'd go here, next year over here. And we just rotate. When Dad got into his mid-60s, he decided it was time to shut down his pig operation and go in search of his next big thing, his next acres of diamonds. He died at age 81, and he never found that next big thing, that next big opportunity. About 2 years after his death, we sold the farm for $235,000. It was a fair price for the property at the time. About 6 months after the transaction, the new owners of our farm, they were leveling those man-made ponds that we had built up. They'd been dry on top for years. But as the heavy grader was going across in the middle of one of those ponds, it broke through the crust and sunk up to its belly in this black muck. They called in experts to analyze the stuff. And right there on the spot, they offered the new owners of our farm $2,000 a ton for the stuff. That's $1 a pound for old pig poop. The farm that we sold for $235,000 was now worth over $1 million. 500 tons of old pig poop was acres of diamonds right under my dad's nose.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
So what I want to ask your listeners is, what about you? Where are your acres of diamonds? Are you right there on the verge of discovery? Or are you like Ollie Fed and my dad and you're overlooking them? You're missing them?
If it was me and I was the one who came out to your to that farm to analyze the hazard material or waste, I think that rather than offering money to take the the contamination away, I would have been like, well, you know what? I can remove this for you, but it's going to cost you $15, or whatever. But a nice way to flip it and make it on both ends. Your diamonds are already in your life. They just don't look like diamonds yet.
That gives me the
You're able
permission.
to push Japanese kids off of a bungee tower?
Exactly. It gives me the power and authority to push little Japanese people off the top of a bungee tower. On our busiest day, we did 783 people in one day.
That's a lot.
But sometimes during the week, it would be slow when I'd be up at the top of this bungee tower, 8 stories above the ground, just me and my brilliant mind. Now, this is brilliant, putting your finger around your head going forward. This is crazy, going backwards.
I like that kind of brilliance sometimes.
Now, at the bottom of our bungee tower was a stunt person airbag, so you could jump into it, hit the air, and the air goes poof, and you're safe. And in theory, one could jump from all the way up there, 8 stories high, hit the airbag without a bungee cord and hit the
Uh-huh.
airbag and be okay.
Okay.
So my brilliant mind was talking to me, hey, you think you could do that? I'm like, yeah, I think I can. And I walked to the edge and I looked down and I ain't that crazy. But my brilliant mind continued to talk to me and he says, okay, whenever you attach the bungee cord to your to your customer, you have a little 1 inch strap that's about a foot long and it has a carabiner at one end. You could hook that to that, that's how you get hooked to the bungee cord.
Okay.
And so you could jump with that hooked to you, wait for the bouncing to stop, and then you just unhook. Yeah, I could do that because now you're falling from 6 stories instead of 8.
Okay.
Definitely going to save your life if you miss.
Uh-huh.
And so I did that, but I couldn't unhook. And so I was like, okay, what if I take the strap and I wrap it around itself and hook it back onto itself? And I have 2 of those. Now I have 2 loops. That gives me handles. I can jump just hanging onto the handles, wait for the bouncing to stop, and then all I have to do is let go. Brilliant, right?
It sounds
Brilliant.
like a plan.
So, got my handles in my hand. I walked to the edge of the tower and I looked down and I said, 3, 2, 1, bungee, and I jumped. Now, obviously, everything is okay. I didn't fall to my death. I waited for the bouncing to stop and I let go. Now, sometimes your brilliant mind doesn't go far enough. So I am hanging at the end of a giant rubber band.
Right.
What's going to happen when I let go?
I would imagine it would shoot back up.
That rubber band shot back up and hit the tower with a loud bang. I fell to the mat with a loud slap. It echoed throughout the park and everyone came running to see who just died. And I'm crawling out of the mat. Now, the point of the story, brilliant or crazy, you decide. But you have to have a little bit of both to be an entrepreneur, to do side hustles, to do things on your own. Now,
Yeah.
everybody's probably thinking, you're an idiot. And I do sometimes myself when I tell the story, but they're just thinking, you're an idiot. But it wasn't an uneducated jump. I had jumped thousands of times. I knew the kind of pressure that I was going to feel because I'd felt it on my body, and I was 99% sure that I could hang on.
Right.
The only worry was if my body freaked out whenever you come up for that rebound and you're weightless and your hands want to go, ah! And I kept it. I just like, no, just don't do that. And so it was an educated guess, an educated decision to do it.
And this is the part that hits the hardest because it's the truth every creative eventually faces.
I do what I want within reason. I've never gone into work. I've never done the real job thing. I've never had I've done part-time jobs where I have to go into work. When I was in college and so from 1994 to 2000, I would go back and forth to Japan and I would make a lot of money in Japan doing bungee jump, the sky. So I took the first commercial bungee jump and then we built 12 bungee jumps over there after that. The first sky coaster, it's the big swing thing in Lagoon or in a lot of the amusement parks that you see.
Uh-huh.
And then a German ride. We built our own ride over there. So for 6 years, I went back and forth to Japan to where when I was home, I did what I wanted. If I wanted to go in, I would go into a welding shop and weld and work there. But I didn't have to. So I didn't have this monkey on my back saying, okay, you need to go to work because you need the money. I've been able to live life somewhat on my own terms. There's been tough times. I'm not saying it's always been easy. When I lost that money in 2002, that was a hard time. But then in 2003 and 2004, 2005, I had my best years. because of what I did in 2002. And so I've just been free. I don't have to report to anybody but maybe my wife.
We all build these identities when we're young, the thing we think we're supposed to become, and then we never imagine what happens if that identity collapses.
See, I'm a poet too.
Oh.
But even, I love the things that I do, or I won't do them for the most part. Even getting my leg cut off and talking to people, helping them through what it is they're going to go through, or even working with my prosthetist in marketing him because he's good at what he does. I enjoy the conversations. Just like being on with you, I enjoy this. I get excited when I get off the call. I'm just like, okay, I got to calm down. I love what I do, and I'm good at it. At least I think I am. Maybe I'm not as good as I think I am. But I sometimes look back on my life and I say, well, I was lucky. Or maybe sometimes people say that to me, you're just lucky. And if they say it to me, I kind of jokingly say, what? My dream job was blown up. I lost $300,000 in 2002. My legs cut off. What are you talking about, luck? But what is luck? Seneca says luck is when opportunity and preparedness meet. I take it one step further and I say, and you take action.
Your dream dying isn't the end, it's the beginning of who you are actually meant to be. If you found this valuable, check out some of the other videos that I have here. And also, don't forget to check out my website at lightmindedarts.com. I'll see you next time.